9 o'clock, up to 30 degrees already. It's been snowing for about 45 minutes. It was 17 degrees at 6 a.m. It's called warm air advection, but still cold enough for snow. So let's go check it out. It's not that cold. It's not that snowy. We can do it. Steve? Yeah, you just have to. A special invitation, do ya? Come on, let's go. Yeah, that's more like it. Come on. You're a Maine Coon cat. You're made for this weather. Let's go. You will be joining us, right? T-Rex, you ready? Now jump 3 times if you're ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think you're ready. I'm gonna chase you. See what's going on out here. Because the house is shaking. Oh yeah. No days off. Yeah. Kids can't go to school, but those guys can work in the mud. And I'm gonna go quickly over here. Close the door back up. Snow began at about 8:15, and it's about 9:15, and we've got just enough to track Steve, who, look at that, he slipped right there. He's got 4-paw drive, and he slipped. And so, how much snow? Look at him spinning himself all around. He's not used to that. Maine Coon cat. So today is a significant day for so many reasons. Where do we start? Well, it was a gorgeous sunrise this morning. Cape Cod, Darius was there. What happens is the warm air comes in first higher in the sky, and that's the cloud coming in. When storms come in from the west, red sky in the morning, sailor take warning because the cloud is advancing from the west, and it advanced quickly, and this is a coast-to-coast system. It's the 3rd wave on a warm front we've had this week. 3rd time it snowed this week. I'm getting reconstruction in my backyard. That's significant. And when I was in 10th grade at Dennis Yarmouth High School on February 6th, at about this time, it also started snowing. But on February 6th, 1978, it snowed about 4 inches in the first hour or two. I was younger then, may exaggerate, of the storm. It was the blizzard of 1978. And that storm was just a fairly weak low pressure system that came and stalled south of Nantucket, then cut off at upper levels and sat there for 2 days on Cape Cod after 5 inches of snow, and they sent us home from school. The sun came out in the afternoon, and it went up to 50 degrees, even as a blizzard raged right here in North Weymouth. Here is the surface map from February 6th, 1978, from Cosin Mussolini, of course. And it was not a strong storm. It was about 1,000 millibar low, but it was getting stronger. It was the big blue H, which isn't blue in this black and white, but a 1052 high pressure system responsible for much of the wind in the blizzard of 1978. And the fact that it stalled and did a blizzard loop, and the occluded front came into Cape Cod, and there was about a 25 degree temperature gradient from 50 on Cape Cod to about 25 in, say, Worcester, Massachusetts. And so a lot of times it's the temperature gradient due to the differential pressure, what is wind, air moving from high to low pressure, and these highs come from the North Pole, bringing the cold with them. And now as the planet's been warming, the battle between the warm and the cold has grown more significant. And if we check out the national advisories, watches, and warnings this morning, it's coast to coast. Cold and snowy in the northwest, winter weather, winter storm warnings in effect all the way down to California. Extreme cold warning in northern Montana, and you get this is amazing, an ice storm warning in West Virginia, and then tornado warnings happening and flash flood warnings happening also in Kentucky, Tennessee, and West Virginia. Amazing. Here's the lower 48 temperature map at 9 o'clock Eastern time. And it's just astounding. It's 24 below zero in northwestern Montana. and it's 70 degrees in Louisiana with a dew point in the upper 60s. It is a clash of the Titan air masses with record warm across the deep south and not quite record cold, but Arctic cold across the north. And we talked about this last week, how this was going to set up coast-to-coast storms with this major thermal gradient. Even though there's no real strong low-pressure system, the strongest low is north of Lake Superior, where there is a blizzard warning this morning. So we have a blizzard warning on the anniversary of the blizzard of 78, and tornado warnings all at the same time. And here in the Weymouth area, it's just another little wave on a warm front. The satellite imagery this morning is fascinating. Reports of the thunder and sleet and freezing rain in Pennsylvania and West Virginia. And you can see the shadow being cast by those 35, 40,000 foot tall cumulonimbus thunderstorm clouds there across West Virginia and the Blue Ridge Mountains. And here in the Northeast, we've got a thickening cloud, and we're going to have only about 3 or 4 hours of snow right here at my house, and maybe 2 inches. The snowflakes are tiny right now, and as the warmer air up in the sky gets down closer to the ground, the snowflakes are going to get big and fat, and then it's going to turn over to sleet and then drizzle and then end about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to show you the temperature gradient in New England this morning, and it was more vertical than horizontal early in the day when Boston was still only around 20 and the dew point was only about 10. The blue numbers are dew points. In Whitefield, New Hampshire, the dew point was minus 20. The temperature was 17, okay? 17 below zero, rather. 17 below zero. And I look at Mount Washington auto road profile at the same time. So Whitefield is at about 1,000 foot elevation. Then you go up the Mount Washington Auto Road to 5,000 feet, and it was 17 degrees above zero. So a 34 degree inverted atmosphere that's usually very stable. You know, I talk about high barometer cold. Low barometer cold is very unstable. We'll get that tomorrow. And high barometer cold is very stable, but this high barometer cold is also a dome of heavy air, and that warm air coming up from the southeastern states running over the top of the cold is the reason for this overrunning event. Warm front snow, warm frontogenesis. Talked about it a lot yesterday. And let's go to the NAM for the timing on this. NAM 3K from 1 o'clock this morning. The blue is the snow. It's a wall of snow that's already come in. It's going to change over to sleet around 12 o'clock in the Boston area. That's the purple. And even though it's getting very warm up in the sky, it stays pretty cold near the ground. Some freezing rain may end as just some drizzle around 3 or 4 o'clock. And the snow in northern New England, not that impressive considering what we've had. It's going to be pushing out. And then this evening, we're going to be left with partial clearing. And even though it's still a fairly warm air mass at that point, radiational cooling and a freezing cold ground, it's going to be widespread black ice, especially in areas where the snow ends as some drizzle. And the moon comes out through the clouds. It's a full moon next Wednesday. And no doubt this crew here. Oh, sorry. Did I stop? I was just thinking of the moon and the tide. They're pumping the water out of their hole. Okay, back to that map I was just showing, the NAM. Tomorrow, cold air advection, and those are snow squall warnings happening tomorrow in northern New York and northern Vermont as the cold air comes back, and we may get a snow flurry all the way into southern New England. So that's tomorrow afternoon, and then Saturday's going to start off dry and then end up snowy. All right, Steve's on walkabout. Rex is up the hill. I think I'm going to have to take a time out here because the animals probably not liking all that construction equipment is my guess, Steve. This is how much snow fell on Steve in like 3 minutes. Okay, you can go in. Rex can go in. So it shows he's pretty chill just putting up with that for even 3 minutes, doesn't it? We're tracking Tyrannosaurus Rex. I see the tracks of a Rex. You're not enjoying this weather or the heavy equipment, are you? TK on his own to finish this up. I can do it. I've got the proper tools. Easy, easy. I'm going to check the ice. See how safe this ice is. Yeah, I got issues. I never recovered from the blizzard in 1978 going from snow to rain on Cape Cod. And I ended up doing my college senior paper on the blizzard of 1978, so ask me anything about it. Got it practically memorized. People say, is it going to happen again? I say, yes, it is. It just happened in Japan. That storm that hit Japan 3 days ago is still sitting out there and spinning. The atmosphere is locked and loaded, and this is just another shot over the bow. We've been getting nickel and dimed with snow in southern New England so far this season, which doesn't bother me because I've been going up to northern Vermont, where Mount Mansfield has about 6 feet of snow on the ground, and we're all getting the snow over the next 2 weeks. Hey, do you know what happened to the stairs that were right there? Anybody by any chance? Yeah, I know. That's an issue. All right, big picture pattern time. Talked about the thermal gradient. Systems coming in off the Pacific Ocean. Very fast flow. Short waves in the northern stream. Not quite phasing with the warm stream in the south yet. But the battle is going to intensify, and it's far from over. So let's go to the pivotal weather Euro model. Go forward here today. The strongest low up there over Lake Superior is going to travel to our north. So that's been pulling the warm air across the country. That's pushing the warmth into the cold, the reason for the snow in New England today. And then we all get into the occluded air tonight. That's sort of an outwash between the two. And then the cold air advection tomorrow as that low moves to the northeast of Maine, and snow squalls and a cold front and Arctic front. No rain in northern Vermont. A week ago, it looked like we could have rain all the way into Montreal. And the cold air advection is here, and it looks like we're pretty quiet to start off. Another high-pressure system comes in with cold air Saturday morning, and then it's the backside of these blue H's. Here comes the next wall of snow in here on Saturday evening, right as the sun goes down. It's a dark blue, and this low taking a little bit further north, or southern track. And there's high pressure to our north instead of low, like today. So that's why it's all blue and purple and red. Freezing rain and sleet is going to be a big part of the Saturday night fast-moving winter storm. This one's more of a storm with more wind from the northeast, but nothing damaging. I think still good skiing. And Sunday that pulls out, and now we have cold air advection without a lot of wind on Sunday afternoon. Get it. It's going to be nice. The Super Bowl's on. Go skiing and then watch the Super Bowl, and or the commercials or the Puppy Bowl. You still have that. Quiet into Monday, and now this is going to take a lot of fine-tuning as we get there, but the next wave on a warm front to our south is going to come in on Tuesday, and snow comes in here Tuesday. It looks like maybe later in the day, and there may be a break in the action. Yesterday it looked like it was going to stay going right through. I had to stop there for a second just to watch that. There may be a break in the action after the next round of snow on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, another one's coming at us. So a series of waves on a front, mostly to the south of New England. And then another batch comes in Wednesday night and Thursday. And again, that wintry mix may try to get into central New England. We're not sure if that low is going to go to our south or right over New England. But either way, it's another wintry mess for us here into Thursday. Then more cold air advection next Friday, Valentine's Day. And that gets us to 240 hours, which is Saturday, February 15th. Now, it's an exciting map there for sure. You've got a 1040-something high in western Canada, stretching all the way into a 1030-something north of New England. So high pressure spread across Canada, very cold Arctic air. And at the same time, you've got warm air in the deep south, and a storm center right over Colorado. Not that strong a low, but the thermal gradient is huge, and the pressure gradient is huge. And that looks like a blizzard to me coming into the southern plains, the northern Rockies. And see those red numbers there, the 570 line coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. That is record warm. If you see 570 in the summertime, that means it's going to be 90 degrees, probably be about 80. Severe weather. And then the 510 and the 504 blue line, Arctic air, sort of a banana high across Canada. You see the 504 dipping into northern Montana. So that's going to be something like 25 below zero in Montana, a lot like today actually, and somewhere around 85 near Dallas. And a coast-to-coast storm, with the next one coming in here probably about Sunday the 16th, and whether that stays all snow or not is a tough call. So let's get to the 240-hour snowfall forecast. And it's coming fast and furious. Not going to be all snow, a wintry mix expected across the forecast area, but looks like most of New England now, by Sunday, we'll have at least a half a foot of new snow, and some of the higher elevations passing a foot. And then as you get into Tuesday, here comes another 6 inches, and then maybe a break Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, another, 12 inches. The purple is a foot, and then the lighter kind of violets are getting up to 2 feet. And that takes us out to past Thursday, and it looks like even the south coast will have picked up at least a half a foot of new snow. And again, not only does the weather change in waves, weather forecasts change in waves. So we're going into the snowiest stretch of weather here in years. It's no blizzard in 1978, though. All right, I guess that's enough of the weather part. This construction is amazing. Have you ever had equipment like this in your backyard day after day after day? I know it's called an improvement, and they're going to build a new wall for us there and a boardwalk for the town. First, they got to pump the water out of that hole they built yesterday back into the ocean. They're emptying the ocean into the ocean. And they're working regardless of what the weather does. 3 more hours of snow, and at the rate it's going, I'd say we're going to get a little less than 2 inches. But the ground is frozen, so it's not going to melt even though we warm it up tonight. The Enmore will leave you with the work that they did yesterday. It was kind of a mystery why they were digging the hole, but now I think I know. I think they're just going to start that new revetment right there and build it in that direction, around the corner, farther than I can see right here. So we'll leave you with that, with the blue sky yesterday, hardly a cloud in the sky. And now this, and more and more and more out the door. Why have I not picked my forsythia stems yet? Where the sparrows are singing. You can't hear them because of all the heavy equipment. How much snow fell on me in the last 15 minutes? Is my head white? Thanks for watching. All right, and more from yesterday. Brisk. The snow melted in the yard again, just about all of it. And every time the snow melts in the yard, it snows again like the next day. Never boring, is it? Never dull. Oh yeah, and we've got this going on. I don't know, it's at a 15-foot hole below the high tide line. Get a tug. Get a, I don't know, some kind of huge work barge of some kind. There's Boston, and a wall of snow coming at Boston within 24 hours. The ground will be white again in eastern Massachusetts, where I get a little bit of an iceberg forming over here on the ice bucket challenge. It's solid this morning. It melted and refroze. I'm refreezing myself right now. 11 a.m. There's the shadow of the flag right in the hole. It's freezing. It's like 22 degrees. The tide's bottoming out. I don't know why they dug that big hole, but it looks like they're going to put a bunch of boulders in there. So let's watch. .45, so that's an hour and a half video. Looks like they're probably just going to go the length of the beach from right, which is east, to west, which is left, and build themselves some kind of stable subsurface to plant the new boardwalk on, which is not really going to be boards, it's just a name. It's going to be cement. So they should be going to lunch, but the tide's coming in, so no lunch when you're racing the tide. Alright, I'm going on break from making time lapse. I'll come back later, maybe make a time lapse of when the water comes in here. Let's see how that looks. Looks like there's a liner. Can't tell whether that liner is down below or above or what, but they're putting a liner down underneath, I guess. It's gonna be a lot of liner. update. Water's getting close. So that trench is going laterally toward the west. And it looks like a liner, aggregate, then boulders, and then cover. So one more time lapse here. Fascinating. Get the tripod to stand. And 2:45. Water's coming up and going in there now. He just took off. Fascinating. So all I can think is that's a strong foundation for the base of the new structure that's going in. I'll go around the corner and try and chase him, but I think we got enough for today. Hard to believe it's going to be a couple inches of snow on the ground tomorrow, probably close to 40 degrees at this time after morning snow. Time lapse will tell, won't it? Should I just do another quick time lapse with this water filling in here? Watch this. Oh, camera's gonna fall. Gotta come back here. It's on the tripod. Watched him set those rocks for a couple of hours, and it looks like it would be the outward banking by the way he slanted them. That is rough work. Oh, I got it. They wanted to build a swimming pool. No, I'm kidding. So, the more I think about it, that's the beginning of the replacement revetment being built pretty close to where the other one was. Right there, maybe a foot or two, looks like farther out. So that's probably going to stretch over to that groin, which I've heard is staying, and then all the way around the corner over there. Good? It's probably good enough for today, huh? Moon is up there somewhere. There's the moon. Setting up with between Jupiter and Mars, and a great sky, evening sky. And it's so perfect to have the high pressure system coming right overhead tonight. If you like snow, you want a calm, clear evening. It gets everything cold, and then that wall of cold will be eroded by that warm front tomorrow, and the erosion process involves a layer of the cloud falling. The sky is going to fall, or it did already, because this is now been talking in the future, but putting it in the past. The dew point depression was about 17 degrees from 0 dew point to 17 degrees. And I've already talked about all this. And so you had to saturate that layer, and essentially that was the sky coming down and the sky falling for an even better time lapse today and tomorrow. All right, here's the time lapse from today, which is now yesterday. Got it? Good. Thanks, Piano Man. Talk to you tomorrow.